Ent started looking at CRMs in 2018, and we were looking at, in terms of a challenge, we have very aspirational growth plans to grow in the regions that we serve. We are a community organization, and we have expanded to serve communities from essentially the Colorado-Wyoming border down to Rye, Colorado, which is a good distance if you know Colorado at all. And in our home market, we're known very well, but in these new markets, we're not. So to this end, we looked at employing a CRM to help us as we build in our new markets, really maintain what makes us us, the secret sauce of who we are, which for all of us in the financial services industry really is serving that member, that customer. We wanted to begin with the indirect group. So our indirect dealers do a great job of promoting our products, and through that, we gained members in that region. The challenge is that those members have one product with us, and they don't really know who we are. They just know they have an auto loan. So we really wanted to be able to start deepening and engaging with that infamous golden egg that many of us in the financial services try to crack, but it's very difficult to do so. And we also wanted to look at how we manage those leads and how those leads are coming in and how we expand with prospects. When we evaluated our CRMs, we really wanted to find someone who could help us do this quickly, help us do this well, and help us do this in a way that we could minimize impact on our own information technology teams. I say that because as many of you know, our IT teams all have enough to manage with our core banking and other systems. We selected Creatio in January of 2019, started contract negotiations in February, and really began our project in March of 19. We launched within 3 months a program in production focused on our outbound relationship team, which was a brand new group dedicated to really engaging with those indirect folks. Our business bankers and business development team, which is a brand new group again for us, because being a community organization, we had not had a SEG group to really focus on for many years. And then we also did include our outbound lending team, which is a very small group at that point. Those folks were live with Creatio for about 3 months, really launching and learning. We had not had a formal CRM before. We had built a tracking system in our core to help us keep notes and kind of follow up with members, but it didn't connect with our consumer lending system, didn't connect with our mortgage lending system, and it was really difficult to create a true 360-degree view of that member, let alone prospects. We couldn't track prospects at all. So being able to launch and learn of maybe what we didn't know, maybe what we needed to change before we released 2 additional groups was really beneficial for us. And then we brought in our corporate banking team in the fall, who works closely with our business banking group, and added in our community education team and a few others. Throughout the fall and winter, we continued to develop key integrations. We did choose to integrate with our core banking system using a batch process, and wanted to develop for key data elements a real-time connection. But that means we needed to work with our IT team, and our IT team unfortunately had some other initiatives jump to the forefront in the winter. So then that means we did not get to start our key real-time integrations until this January. This January, we began requirements and then really started developing in the last couple months. And we are launching our real-time tonight, actually, real-time integration. And we are working to bring in the rest of our member-facing teams. So here we are just starting this month and then into next month, training all of our service center teams, our consumer lending team, and our call center inbound team on the CRM. The reason why we delayed is, again, throughout this process, we've really launched and learned, and we've incorporated different members of the business lines to provide feedback on how it will best work for them. Learnings on this process. When you've never had a CRM, you don't know what you don't know, and you don't know what to ask for in the program and in development of the process, and what you should have and the data you should use and how that 360 view should work. You have an idea because of how your teams already engage with their members or customers, but you don't really know how that flow should be. And that's a challenge, especially when you're trying to solve a very specific corporate problem. Terminology, even now, continues to be a problem and stumbling block for us. Standard terminology in the CRM, things like contact and account and lead, are not standard in the credit union world. We use member, and I have fought that battle because it's not just members now. It's prospects, it's recapture prospects, people who were members but aren't anymore. It's community organizations, it's different, so it's us as employees. So it's trying to break down some of that learning, even in terminology, and knowing when to give, when to maybe rename contact to people, because it just makes more sense to the staff. And when you're onboarding 450 people, even with COVID-19 and not doing it in person but through videos specific to your department, that can be quite a challenge. So you give a little on terminology, but know that that continues to be a stumbling block. Picking a partner who is willing to discover opportunities with you, because when you don't know what you don't know, you know what you want to accomplish and you know what you need to do, but you don't know necessarily how. And having that partner who's willing to walk beside you to learn your business model and your challenges and to help translate those into actions is invaluable. And when you have somebody who's technically minded, you can quickly see the advantage of the CRM. You understand how a program can help you manage something intangible like a relationship. That you need to help translate that for your staff that you're onboarding into it. Because to them, the relationship isn't necessarily in a program. But for us, knowing the products they have, knowing who they've spoken with, what they've spoken about, can help us deepen that emotion, deepen that connection, so that the next sale is more of a consultation and discussion than just offering it because it's what we think is the next best thing to offer. What would I do differently? So, have a little bit more time to learn what a CRM is before defining how it should be built. I had the privilege of being assigned to manage the CRM just after we picked the last 3 vendors we were evaluating, and then getting to select with the team Creatio and moving forward with designing what we wanted it to be. But I really had not been in a CRM world, and I know software, I can learn software quickly, but I didn't necessarily, again, know what I didn't know. So give your team a little time, give them at least a couple weeks to really dig in to Creatio's online library. That's how I learned the system. When Eric talks about low code, I really appreciate that because I was able to jump into their online learning programs, spend that time, which I was provided, to really dedicate myself to understanding the ins and outs of the system. Is that absolutely necessary? No, but for me, who someone is technically minded, I really wanted to know what I was asking my implementation partner to do and what I myself could do, what I didn't need a partner to do, and what I didn't need my IT team to do. I think that as you're defining your requirements and you're thinking about developing your program and what you can bring in, we absolutely needed our IT team for integrations. We needed them to integrate to the core. We needed them to integrate to the consumer online banking system. We'll need them to integrate to the mortgage system. Beyond integrations, we haven't. We have been able to work with an implementation partner because of timing. Again, we're building the plane while flying. So being able to work with that partner to help define what they could do and then learn what I could do, and being able to do that in parallel has really helped us in terms of speed to market. Understand the marketplace and the apps. So there is a lot that you can either get for free or you can buy and implement in the Creatio marketplace. And there's a lot we want to use. Our challenge is that as a financial services organization, we have very defined position from our security team. And that defined position on the security team means that there's a lot of things we cannot use in the marketplace until Creatio certifies it. And that's been a little bit of a downer for us, honestly, because there's so many really neat things and things that could help our teams, but I can't use them yet because they're not certified yet. And that's just because that's a requirement by our security team. That doesn't mean that would be a stumbling block for you. But I am excited to say that even now, as we implement, and with COVID shifting our training plans to bring 450 plus people on board, we already have 105 on board to the CRM, that I am able to do it through video. I am able to do it through quizzes and different online means, because once the users are in it, it's pretty intuitive. It's pretty easy for them to use. And I think that's been a very exciting piece, because when you have all of those legacy systems, man, I had a chief experience officer who described it this way. Imagine if you were using an online banking system that had not been changed since the year 2000. Imagine all those discs we all got in the mail and what that user experience looked like. And now, as Eric said, think about the fintechs and what we are all experiencing now. That's what our employees have to deal with every day. And yes, we are improving our member experience and the engagement with us through the CRM, but we're also improving our employee experience because they're now using a top-of-the-line world-class system and not something back from the year 2000. So that's really where we are and where we have been, and kind of our success story as we have implemented over the last year and been live with Creatio for a year, continuing to launch and learn, continuing to add functionality. We do see this being an iterative development cycle for us, because we do want to test the waters on whether or not it could be the user experience for our core platform. We don't know if it can yet, but we're excited to try and to see if we can get there.